Hello viewers, welcome back, and today we are going to discuss the anatomy of rotator cuff muscles. So the rotator cuff is a group of 4 muscles within the shoulder, and these muscles originate from the scapula and insert onto the humerus. And due to these particular attachments of these muscles on these two bones, these muscles provide dynamic stability to the shoulder joint, also called the glenohumeral joint. These rotator cuff muscles lie deep to the powerful superficial muscles of the shoulder, such as the pectoralis major, the deltoid, the trapezius, and the latissimus dorsi muscle. As you know that our shoulder joint consists of 1/3 of our humeral head, which is placed in this shallow glenoid cavity or glenoid fossa. This arrangement makes this joint very mobile, but at the same time this joint loses its stability. And we regain this stability through these 4 rotator cuff muscles which we are discussing now. So these rotator cuff muscles include the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis muscle. So today we will discuss each of these muscles individually. So the supraspinatus muscle originates from the supraspinous fossa, which is this area on the superior aspect of the scapula, just above the spine of the scapula. After its origin from the supraspinous fossa, the supraspinatus muscle runs underneath the acromion of the scapula to insert on the greater tubercle of the humerus. There are 3 facets on the greater tubercle of the humerus, and the supraspinatus muscle inserts on the superior facet of the greater tubercle. In terms of the nerve supply of the supraspinatus muscle, this muscle is supplied by the suprascapular nerve. The suprascapular nerve arises from the superior trunk of the brachial plexus, with C5 and C6 cervical nerve roots. In terms of the arterial supply or the vascular supply of the supraspinatus muscle, so a large part of the arterial supply for this muscle is derived from this artery, the suprascapular artery. And a small part of the arterial supply for this muscle is derived from this artery, the dorsal scapular artery. Both of these arteries arise from the subclavian artery. Now if we discuss a little about the actions or the movements produced by the supraspinatus muscle, so when this muscle acts in isolation, this muscle abducts the shoulder at the glenohumeral joint. The second rotator cuff muscle is the infraspinatus muscle. So the infraspinatus muscle originates from the infraspinous fossa of the scapula. The infraspinous fossa is this area on the lower posterior aspect of the scapula, just below the spine of the scapula. The infraspinatus muscle travels superolaterally to cross the lateral border of the scapula and moves around the posterior aspect of the proximal humerus to insert on the greater tubercle of the humerus. The infraspinatus muscle inserts on the middle facet of the greater tubercle. In terms of the actions, the infraspinatus is a very important muscle because when this muscle acts in combination with other rotator cuff muscles, it provides dynamic stability to the shoulder joint during movements of this joint. But when this muscle acts in isolation, it acts on the posterior aspect of the proximal humerus, and this muscle laterally rotates the shoulder at the glenohumeral joint. In terms of the nerve supply, the infraspinatus muscle is supplied by the suprascapular nerve. After arising from the superior trunk of the brachial plexus, the suprascapular nerve travels a bit posterolaterally to pass through the suprascapular notch, just under the suprascapular ligament. And after passing through the suprascapular notch, the nerve arrives at the supraspinous fossa, where it gives off a branch to the supraspinatus muscle. And then the nerve travels a bit more posterolaterally to pass through this notch, the supraglenoid notch, and after passing through the supraglenoid notch, the nerve arrives at the infraspinous fossa, where it gives off these branches to the infraspinatus muscle. In terms of the arterial supply, the infraspinatus muscle is supplied by two main arteries, the suprascapular artery and the circumflex scapular artery. The suprascapular artery arises from the thyrocervical trunk, and the thyrocervical trunk then arises from the subclavian artery. The circumflex scapular artery, as you can see, arises from the subscapular artery, and the subscapular artery then arises from the third part of the axillary artery. These two arteries, that is the suprascapular and the circumflex scapular arteries, then anastomose at the infraspinous fossa, as you can see. Moving on to the teres minor muscle. So the teres minor originates from the lateral border of the scapula. Here the teres minor lies just below the infraspinatus muscle and just above its fellow muscle, the teres major. From its origin on the lateral border of the scapula, the teres minor travels superolaterally to insert on the greater tubercle of the humerus, and the teres minor inserts on the inferior facet of the greater tubercle. The supraspinatus inserts on the superior facet, while the infraspinatus inserts on the middle facet of the greater tubercle. The teres minor muscle serves a very important role in terms of the actions it performs, because when this muscle works with other rotator cuff muscles, it provides dynamic stability to the shoulder joint during movements of this joint. But when this muscle acts in isolation, this muscle acts on the posterior aspect of the proximal humerus, and this muscle laterally rotates the shoulder at the glenohumeral joint. In terms of the nerve supply, the teres minor is supplied by the axillary nerve. The axillary nerve originates from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus, with the anterior rami of C5 and C6 cervical nerve roots. In terms of the arterial supply, the teres minor muscle is supplied by two main arteries, the circumflex scapular artery and the posterior circumflex humeral artery. We have already discussed the circumflex scapular artery, and we came to know that this artery arises from the subscapular artery, which then arises from the third part of the axillary artery. So if we discuss the posterior circumflex humeral artery, so this artery directly originates from the third part of the axillary artery. And the last rotator cuff muscle is the subscapularis muscle. So the subscapularis muscle originates from the subscapular fossa of the scapula. The subscapular fossa is this shallow area on the ventral aspect of the scapula. And after origin from the subscapular fossa, the fibers of the subscapularis muscle travel a bit superolaterally towards the humerus and insert here on the lesser tubercle of the humerus. The subscapularis is the only rotator cuff muscle that inserts on the lesser tubercle of the humerus, because the other three rotator cuff muscles, as you can see, insert on the greater tubercle of the humerus. If we discuss the actions of the subscapularis muscle, so as a rotator cuff muscle, the subscapularis works with the other rotator cuff muscles in providing dynamic stability to the shoulder joint during movements of this joint. What we discussed is the action performed by the subscapularis when it acts with other rotator cuff muscles. But when this muscle acts in isolation, acting synergistically with the pectoralis major and teres major muscles, so then this muscle medially rotates the arm at the glenohumeral joint. In terms of the nerve supply, the subscapularis muscle is supplied by the upper and lower subscapular nerves. The upper subscapular nerve supplies the superior fibers, while the lower subscapular nerve supplies the inferior fibers of the subscapularis muscle. And these two nerves arise from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus. Now if we discuss a little about the arterial supply of the subscapularis muscle, so to be very specific, this muscle is supplied by two arteries, the thoracodorsal artery and the circumflex scapular artery. These two arteries, that is the thoracodorsal and the circumflex scapular arteries, arise from the subscapular artery, and the subscapular artery then arises from the third part of the axillary artery. So this tutorial was about the rotator cuff muscles. Hope this tutorial helps you in learning the anatomy of these muscles. Thank you so much.